what's up, hello, my name is Emma and today I'm giving you guys a tour of my Shadowhunter shelves. As it's been a year, I have a lot more books and items and products. I have expanded into a third shelf. These shelves are my pride and joy and I'm really excited to share them with you guys. As a note, I will leave purchasing links to as many of the books and items that I could find in the description below if you're interested in checking them out for yourself. So this is the first shelf, which I have deemed the Mortal Instrument shelf because it holds the majority of my copies of the Mortal Instrument series. I genuinely don't remember how I formatted the last Shadowhunter shelf store, but I'm gonna start by taking off all the little trinkets and items that I have, and then I'll go into all the different editions of the books just so they're out of the way. So the first item I have is my Isabelle Lightwood Snake Whip Bracelet. This is not the replica that was sold at Hot Topic after the movie franchise, and I bought it before Shadowhunters, so I don't exactly know where this came from. I bought this off of eBay for just a couple of dollars. They have a lot of really inexpensive merch related to the Mortal Instrument series that I definitely think is still worth it. So I don't know how on eBay this has come to be known as a Isabelle Lightwood bracelet, but it works really well. I personally like it better than the one that they had at Hot Topic because that was a cuff, and this one actually wraps around your arm, and I think it's like more closely related to what Isabelle's bracelet actually looks like. But I really like having it on my shelf. It's always fun for when I do Isabelle Lightwood cosplays, and I'm really happy it's in my collection. The next is this Rune candle that was gifted to me by a friend a couple of years ago for my birthday. I don't know exactly where it is from. It just has like a sheet of runes on it and what they mean, and I never use any of my Mortal Instruments candles because I like to keep them pristine and just displayed on my shelf. Off of that candle is where I normally hang some of my Mortal Instruments necklaces, number one of course being Isabelle Lightwood's ruby necklace. This is another find off of eBay. I swear they sell them for literally $2. I don't know if this one is the exact replica that they have at Mortal Instruments, but it definitely looks exactly the same to Isabelle's necklace in the movie and the TV show. It is cheap, it's not great metal, it's clearly like a craft store gem, but it looks perfect in my opinion, and personally I don't really care about having like the best quality items, I just care about what they represent to me. So again, whenever I do Isabelle Lightwood cosplays, or even if I'm wearing red one day and I just want like that pop of color, it is a really wearable piece and I love it. The other necklace that I keep on my Mortal Instrument shelf is my Morgenstern Ring. I believe this one is a part of the official City of Bones movie merch, but I did buy it pretty recently off of Amazon. Fun story, in high school I had bought one like right after the movie when all of the merch was on clearance, and I actually got a ring guard installed on it so like I could wear it as a ring because it is pretty big. Unless you have large fingers, it's gonna slip off very easily. But again, it's just a cute replica. After I had lost my Morgenstern ring about like 2 years ago, I was really missing it, so I'm glad I added it back to my collection. And then the final little tchotchke that I keep on my Mortal Instrument shelf is of course the Shadowhunters tarot cards. I believe these actually were a gift from a friend as well, but they are just the most beautiful cards in the world. Cassandra Jean has the most beautiful artwork. I can't imagine a single person who would be better to commission these tarot cards. I know nothing about the history of tarot cards. I bought them because they are related to the Mortal Instrument series, but they have different character cards that have drawings of each individual character and like a word attached to them. So for example, Christina's is the Believer. And then they also have 4 different suits of steels, rings, blades, and runes. And again, they have characters and images attached to them. And I just really like having them. I think it is like such a great novelty item related to the Shadowhunter Chronicles because it encompasses characters from all 3 of the current series that are out, and I just love them so much. We're moving on to books. So the first 2 books that I have are the original UK covers of the Mortal Instrument series. City of Bones was sent to me by Jessica and City of Ashes was sent to me by Kate, so thank you so much to both of you for adding these wonderful books to my collection. Originally, I thought these covers were so ugly and gross, and I was so happy that they changed them, but like it really does fit like the early 2000s fantasy cover scheme. I think it's really representative of the Mortal Instruments at that time, and I really like having them as an addition to my collection. Honestly, just take a shot every time I say collection in this video because it's gonna be a lot. The next books are a full set of the Mortal Instruments series, and I believe they are the UK special edition paperbacks. I really love this set of the Mortal Instruments series because the colors on the cover are just so vibrant, they really pop, but also on the front cover for each individual book there is a different symbol, and within that symbol are different images that are related to the content of the book we're reading about, and I just think they are so special and beautiful and I love them so much. I also have the movie tie-in edition for City of Bones, which is my favorite of the movie covers. In my opinion, this movie poster for the Mortal Instruments series fit it so freaking well. Like the movie really got the City of Bones aesthetic on point, and I just really enjoyed the movie cover. Now the last book on the first stack of books for my Mortal Instruments shelf is a copy of City of Lost Souls that was defaced for me for my birthday by Jenna Claire K here on YouTube. If you didn't know, City of Lost Souls is my favorite book of all time, and so Jenna went through the amazing work it took to deface this book. She has written quotes all over it. She's drawn in the pages, she made collages. Seriously, like looking through this book when I got it was so freaking cool. Jenna put so much work into it, and I really think it is like a really special and unique edition. There's so much to love about it. It's so cool. And Jenna has a few videos on defacing books like this, but it's super special. So of course, thank you so much to Jenna for sending it to me. Next on the shelf, I have my copy of Notable Shadowhunters and Denizens of Downworld, written by Cassandra Clare and illustrated by Cassandra Jean. This is the original edition that was sold through topatchco.com, but I believe now they've changed it so that there is a black cover you can buy on Amazon. So I'm definitely planning on getting that one in the future, but this is the original. This entire book is essentially just an encyclopedia about facts about all of the characters in the first 4 series of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, as well as the first 2 bind-ups of novellas. It has some facts about the character, as well as a paragraph of just interesting information, maybe a few anecdotes that we wouldn't have known about before reading this book, and a beautiful illustration by Cassandra Jean that is relating each character to a different flower. And it is one of the most special books there is that I have related to the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I just had so much fun reading through it. I really think it is like the perfect novelty book for a Shadowhunters fan, and I'm so happy I have this one. So next I have the original US hardbacks of the Mortal Instruments series, which I'm sure you guys have seen 5,000 times. I'm really just too lazy to take them off the shelf at this point. Personally, the original US covers of the Mortal Instruments series are my favorite. It's probably just all of the nostalgia attached to them, but I got the first 5 books in a box set for Christmas of 2014, and then I bought City of Heavenly Fire when it came out. So these are definitely the books that have been with me for the longest. And I do have City of Bones, City of Glass, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire signed by Cassandra Clare. The next book I have is the Barnes & Noble Collector's Edition of City of Bones. The reason the Collector's Edition is supposedly special is because it has the map of New York City, Brooklyn, and Queens that is now in like every single published Shadowhunters book, so it's not that special anymore. Though it is still fun, and side note, I did go on a tour of New York City using this map, and I went to all of the locations. So if you're interested in seeing that vlog where I go to every single location that is disclosed in the Mortal Instruments series, I'll leave that below. But the main reason that I bought the Barnes & Noble Collector's Edition is because in the back of it there is a short story called Awake, and it is the scene where Clary and Jace meet for the first time from Jace's perspective. And I went into Barnes & Noble, wasn't planning on buying this, but I read the short story and I started crying, and I was like, I have to have it. The next book is a part of another trade I did with the lovely Christy, and she sent me a copy of City of Bones, another one of the movie tie-in editions, but it was exclusive to Walmart, so thank you so much to Christy. Again, I love the movie poster as the movie tie-in edition better, but I'm extremely excited to add another copy of City of Bones to my collection. It has Lily Collins, Jamie Campbell Bower on the front, which I am always satisfied with. The next book is the TV tie-in edition of City of Bones. It was actually bought for me by Michael from Michael Book Line, so of course, Michael, thank you for giving this to me. If you've watched my channel, you know that Shadowhunters is not my favorite TV show in the entire world, but I'm always down to support Cassandra Clare as well as all of the different heights that the Mortal Instruments series and the rest of her books reach, because although it's not my favorite thing in the world, it's still a part of the success of the Mortal Instruments series, and for that reason, it's important to me. Next, I have a piece of paper that would probably look very dumb to anyone else, like why are you keeping a piece of paper on your bookshelf? But it is the piece of paper where Cassandra Clare had written out my tattoo for me. I can't really see for this position, but it says, "Words have the power to change us," and it is written in her handwriting, and it is the most special tattoo in the world to me. I had gone to one of her book signings back in 2015. I had asked her if she would write it out for me, and being the lovely person that she is, she wrote it out for me, and now it's on my body forever, and for that reason, this piece of paper is very special to me. I also have my DVD of the City of Bones movie, which, although I don't love Shadowhunters, I do love the movie, if for no other reason than it is the way I discovered the books in the first place, so I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the movie. This was gifted to me by one of my friends, Natalia, as a part of a Secret Santa we did a few years ago, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't still watch this DVD very, very frequently. And then the final books on my Mortal Instruments shelf are, of course, the new US paperback editions. Again, I'm sure you've seen these covers. They have new models on the front. They are all different colors, and although at first I wasn't a big fan of these covers, I've grown to love them so much. Also, how could you not love the sketches on these spines that have each individual character that's on the cover, and it is just like this beautiful scene of them standing in New York fighting demons, and it's just like a really epic look on your bookshelf. In the US paperback editions, I do have City of Ashes, City of Fallen Angels, and City of Heavenly Fire all signed. So across the US hardback and paperback editions, I do have one full set of the Mortal Instruments signed, which is my life goal, so I'm super happy that I have those now. So that concludes the Mortal Instruments shelf. We still have 2 more to go through, but the Mortal Instruments shelf is definitely the one that has been the most consistent since I first started collecting this series. It's focused on my favorite series of all time, and I'm super happy with it right now. now. So the second shelf has been going through quite a lot of transformation as I have just expanded all of the books onto 2, 2, and 3. This is mostly my Infernal Devices books, but it has also become my forward editions of City of Bones shelf, which is ever growing and super cool, so I'm excited to show them to you. Let's start with the items again because there are significantly less on this one. Firstly, I have another Rune candle. This was actually in one of the very first fairy loot boxes that I tried in 2016. It has one big angelic rune on the top, and then all along the back and sides of it, it has smaller runes. Again, I'm never gonna burn it, but I love being able to display it and just have this like giant angelic rune on top of all my books. Next, I have this box of mini City of Bones movie merch, which I have bought a million times over from Barnes & Noble. The reason I keep buying it over and over and over again is because it is where I get my angelic rune necklace that I wear in literally every single one of my videos every single day of my life. The box also comes with this little booklet of stills and different quotes from the movie. It's nothing special, but you know, like I said, I loved the look of the movie, so it's nice to have. It also comes with some magnets, one of Lily Collins and the second of the rest of the cast of the City of Bones movie. And it also comes with a bunch of mini Rune temporary tattoos that again are always great for cosplays or anytime you want to be feeling a little bit extra Shadowhunter-y today. Unfortunately, this is the last one that my Barnes & Noble has, so I'm gonna have to keep buying them off of like eBay and Amazon or wherever I can find them, but it's definitely a staple for me, if only just for the necklace. Under that is where I keep more of my temporary Rune tattoos. I have two big ones that I prefer the big ones to the small ones. I have no idea where I got them. I think I might have gotten them at a convention. And then I have a few more packets of the runes from previous boxes from that City of Bones mini movie merch box. But again, temporary tattoos, always great if you're ever planning on filming a Shadowhunters related video. I have my mini Jace Steele from the City of Bones official movie merch. This was actually the Rune keychain and I used to keep it on my keys, but one day it fell off. I lost it for like a day and then I found it again and I was like, might as well put it on my shelf. Then I have some Lord of Shadows pins that I got at BookCon this year. They had a Shadowhunters booth. Every day they were giving out different pins and like little fun stuff, so of course I grabbed all of them. Of course they have the classic Angelic Power rune, but as they have recently just released like 30 new rune designs, I have some of those. So I have the Antidote rune and the Heavenly Fire rune. Truthfully, I'm probably never going to take these out of their packaging because they're so small and I don't want to lose them, but of course it just brings me back to good memories of BookCon and of Lord of Shadows. And the final item on my Infernal Devices shelf is my replica Mortal Cup that is ceramic. In high school, I had grown very close to the ceramics teacher, even though I never had ceramics, and she would let me come in on my lunch periods to work on a project, and so how could I make anything other than the Mortal Cup? It was difficult. It's also not perfect. Like, it's not totally symmetrical. How can the first thing you ever make out of clay be symmetrical, to be honest? But I put so much hard work into this. I carved it myself, I attached it myself, I painted it myself. It's really special to me. It's held up for like 4 years now. Still perfect in my eyes. I love it. I don't think I could ever have a Shadowhunter shelf that didn't have a Mortal Cup on it now. Alrighty, now let's move on to the books. Now the first section of this shelf is a couple of foreign editions of City of Bones that some of you guys have kindly sent to me. The first is the French edition of City of Bones, which was sent to me by Joanna. So of course, thank you so much to Joanna. The reason I love the French edition specifically, even though it is the same cover as the American editions, is I have read books in French before. I read Harry Potter in French in high school as I was currently taking French at the time, and I might actually be able to read this one day as opposed to the other editions that I probably can't read, but of course I'm just excited to have another foreign edition, so thank you so much to Joanna. The next foreign edition is the Swedish edition, which was sent to me by Christina from Proud Bookline here on YouTube. I love that this is my first hardcover copy of City of Bones that doesn't have a dust jacket. Like, the cover is printed on and I love it. It's just so shiny and pretty, and I do have Swedish heritage, so I'm extremely excited to add this one to my collection as well, so of course thank you so much to Christina. So the next foreign editions of City of Bones that I have are actually 2 copies of the German edition. One of these was sent to me by Christine and the other was sent to me by Flavia, so thank you so much to both of you. This is genuinely the prettiest edition of City of Bones there is. You can't tell me otherwise. They are beautiful. I'm extremely excited to have both copies of these. They're just so special to me, and I have always wanted the City of Bones and all of the German editions myself, so I'm extremely excited to have them. So thank you so much to Flavia and Christine. I really appreciate you guys. And the last 2 foreign editions that I have of specifically City of Bones are 2 of the Italian editions. I believe this is the original Italian edition, and this is the new bind up of the first trilogy of the Mortal Instrument series, and these were both sent to me by Sarah from Orange Dinosaur Roar here on YouTube. So of course, thank you so much, Sarah, for providing me with all of these amazing Italian editions. So I believe this is one of the first Italian editions of City of Bones, and it just has this like mysterious person on the cover and 3 swipes on their face that match the text of Shadowhunters, and it's just like like such like a cool, like very classic fantasy cover, and I love it. But this beauty is actually the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments series, City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass, and they do have a second set of the second trilogy, which has a different rune on the cover, and it is a different color. But essentially the Italian publisher has grouped these trilogies together to provide these amazing bind-ups, and it is so beautiful. This one also comes with a map, but it is in Italian, whereas the rest of the ones that I have are in English, and both of these Italian editions are just so cool. So thank you so much to Sarah for sending them to me, because you are just like the sweetest person ever. So it has been a hot minute since I filmed the full tour, but I recently got a new book in the mail that absolutely had to be a part of this collection, and that is this Russian edition of City of Bones that was sent to me so kindly by Vasilisa. So thank you so much to Vasilisa for sending it to me. I had never seen a Russian edition of City of Bones before. This one is obviously inspired by the City of Bones movie, so it has Jamie Campbell Bower and Lily Collins on the front. I always love the movie promotional items, books, and the DVD and stuff that have the portal with the angelic rune on the cover, because I just think it really fits the aesthetic of the books. I also really like the spine because it also has the portal on it, and it's another edition that is straight book. The cover is printed on it. It's not a dust jacket, and this was such a nice surprise. Every time I get a new edition in the mail, I never think that I'll ever add it to my collection, but I am so lucky to. So thank you so much to Vasilisa for giving me another new edition of City of Bones. This final book, hiding in the back because there's no other space for it, was sent to me by Kelly from Kelly's Book Spill for my birthday one year, and it is called Shadowhunters and Myths, Discovering the Legends Behind the Mortal Instruments by Valerie Estelle Frankel. So this isn't an official Cassandra Clare Mortal Instruments book. It essentially goes into the backstory and the construction of the world of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So it talks a little bit about the history of the different creatures like fairies and werewolves and vampires. It talks about some of the angels and demons that are incorporated into this story, and I have flipped through it before, and it's like really interesting. Like, it gives you so much more awareness while you're reading the Mortal Instruments series, and I think that's so cool. So again, thank you so much to Kelly. So starting off the Infernal Devices books I have on the shelf, I do have the original US hardcovers. Again, you've seen them a million times. I don't really need to bring them out, but I do find it very exciting that Clockwork Princess is signed by Cassandra Clare, as well as Alberto Rosende, who plays Simon on the Shadowhunters TV series. So the next book is actually my first foreign edition of the Infernal Devices series, which is Clockwork Princess in German. This was a total surprise for me, sent by Marie, so thank you so much to Marie for starting my Infernal Devices foreign editions collection. I love the fact that it is so shiny and holographic on the cover. It is so freaking cool. What is inside of it that's very interesting is it has this little pamphlet, and I believe it has all of these different editions of the Mortal Instrument series that they have in German. So for example, I've never seen these editions of the Infernal Devices series or even this edition of the Shadowhunters Codex, and honestly, like, you Germans, you have some great book covers when it comes to the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I'm very envious. But of course, thank you so much to Marie for sending me a copy of Clockwork Princess. Next, I have the new US paperback editions of the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. It follows the same format as the new US paperback editions with the different people on the cover, different colors, as well as these spines, but this one of course has Jem, Tessa, and Will, and they are standing in front of London as opposed to New York City. And there's not much else to say about these covers, but I do love them so much. Next, I do have the manhwa editions of the Infernal Devices series, which I used to think were manga, but I believe they are Korean art, which is why they are manhwa. They are in English though, so I can read them, and I think one of the next times that I do read the Infernal Devices series, I'm gonna have to read them in this format because I love the artwork. It's super cool, and I'd really like to experience the Infernal Devices series in a totally new format. Next, I have 2 copies of the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare. I originally bought the Shadowhunters Codex myself, but I went to BookCon 2014 and she signed and gave me another copy. I just couldn't bear myself to part with my original edition after getting the second one from Cassie, so I just had to keep them both. Next book is the Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, and Maureen Johnson. The bind-up does have one additional story that wasn't originally published along with the ebooks when they were coming out individually. The Bane Chronicles is actually my mom's favorite Shadowhunter Chronicle book because she loves Magnus Bane so much, and every single time she comes in here to pick out a new book, all she tells me is that she wants to pick up the Bane Chronicles again. And finally, hiding in the corner, because again, there's literally no more room on these shelves, is the official Mortal Instruments coloring book. There's just so much beautiful artwork in it. I've started coloring some of them. I actually have a video where I start coloring in a few of the pages you've just seen, so I will leave that video below if you're interested. But it is so beautiful. It's illustrated by Cassandra Jean, of course, and I just love this coloring book so much. So that really sums up the Infernal Devices shelf as well as the City of Bones foreign editions shelf. we have made it to the last shelf, which is my Dark Artifices shelf. The first thing that is not so obviously related to the Dark Artifices is this box that says a greeting from Los Angeles. It obviously has a lot of like classic Los Angeles related scenes on it, though there is something with a tentacle holding a sword, so obviously it's not totally normal. This is actually the box that my arc for Lady Midnight came in, along with a few other items that are on this shelf, and I have been waiting a full year to display it because I think it is so beautiful, and I'm so in love with this box, so I'm so glad that I can add it to my collection. The next item is Jace's Steele. That was from the City of Bones movie merch. This is like the full-length Steele that actually has like a invisible pen in it, and when the light on this used to work, you used to be able to write like invisible messages and reveal it with the Steele light. Oh my god, it actually does still work. Oh, that's so interesting. I try and keep the like very obviously like Mortal Instruments related stuff together, but a Steele can be anywhere, so I put it on my Dark Artifices shelf just to add a few more items onto it and make it look a little bit more complete because the series is still developing. Next on this corner, I have these postcards that I got at BookCon this year along with the other pins. These are character portrait postcards. They have a picture of each character from the Dark Artifices series on one front, and again, like kind of like with the tarot cards, they each have a word that is associated with that character. On the back there is a space for you to write postcards, but God knows I'm never sending these to anyone because they were so special to me. I think it's really beautiful artwork. I went through so much trouble to be able to find a place for me to keep them displayed on my shelf because I think they're so beautiful, and I'm so happy I have them. The next item hiding in the back over there is the Shadowhunter's Guide to Los Angeles. This also came in the Los Angeles box that I was sent with the arc of Lady Midnight. Essentially, it is a really large map of Los Angeles, kind of like the ones that are in the editions of the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices, but this one is geared towards Los Angeles. I personally just love it because it's a fold out, and if I ever wanted to, I could definitely hang it on my walls, and I just think it's a cool little item. As I'm sure you can tell, most of the items that I have on this shelf are from my box of my Lady Midnight arc, but in that box I also got a ticket to the lottery, which is a part of Lady Midnight if you haven't read it already. It says, followers of the Guardian invite you to the lottery. This month's performance, August 11th, the Midnight Theater. This ticket admits one group semi-formal attire, and it has the Midnight Theater on it. I think it's super cute, and I'm glad I can display it on my shelf. And the final little item hiding on top is this key. It is a silver key, and it has a angelic rune keychain attached to it, and again, this is a part of the Lady Midnight arc box that I was so lucky to receive. If you're interested in checking out all of my initial reactions to everything in this box, I do have an unboxing from like 2016 when I first got it. If you're interested, it's in the description below. Moving on to books, I have my copies of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. These are both just off of Amazon. There's nothing special in them. They're just like typical editions. Again, you've seen them a million times at this point. But Lady Midnight is signed by Cassandra Clare because she is just like such a sweetheart, and she's always down to sign all of my books, and I love her so much. The next two books are some of my favorites of my Shadowhunters collection, and that is the UK limited edition from Waterstones of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. There are a couple of books in my collection that do have signed stamps from Cassie, but I believe the Lady Midnight one is actually signed by Cassie, like hand signed. Both of these exclusive editions do have a print of the Los Angeles Shadowhunters guide that I showed you before, and the Lord of Shadows one does have an exclusive scene that takes place on Blackfire's bridge between Emma and Julian, and it was amazing, and these are definitely two of the most special books that I have in my collection. Then I do have 3 ARC copies of Cassie's books, advanced reader copies that I got before release date. The first is Lady Midnight, so this is how I originally read it. I was searching so hard for the right person to talk to at Simon & Schuster while I was trying to get this book back. I started in 2015 because it came out in 2016. I spent like 9 months trying to get this book, and then like 2 weeks before, finally somebody answered me. So thank you so much to Simon & Schuster for putting up with all my ridiculous emails and getting this into my hands. The next I have is Lord of Shadows, which is Cassie's most recent book, and it's definitely because of Cassie specifically that I have this one, because she was kind enough to ask her publicist to send me one. So thank you so much, Cassie. You know I love you very much. And then the final Cassandra Clare arc I have is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which was gifted to me by one of my bookseller friends or previous bookseller friends in New York City. So thank you so much, Gabby, for gifting this to me. It's very, very special to me, and you are very special to me as well. I do have 2 chapter samplers for the Infernal Devices series. I have one from Lady Midnight that I got at BookCon of 2015, and then I have another one for Lord of Shadows that I got at Cassie's event for Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy in November of 2016. And the final book on my Shadowhunter shelves is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Wasserman. And this one is also signed by Cassandra Clare and Alberto Rosende because we were there for the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy event, what better way to celebrate than having literal Simon Lewis in front of us. I did read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy on ebook as they were being published individually back in like 2015, so I haven't read this one in a while, but I of course am so thankful to have a final copy that is signed by the author and literally Simon Lewis. It's pretty freaking cool in my opinion. And that is it for the Dark Artifices shelf, which is slowly becoming my favorite just because I think it matches so well together. Well, that is it for my Shadowhunter shelves tour. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I love Cassandra Clare so much, I love her book so much, and I'm extremely excited to have my collection continue to grow. And I of course have to give a very big thank you to those of you who have sent me some of Cassandra Clare's books in different foreign editions, because this collection is absolutely as cool as it is because of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. But that is really it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!